We're doing magic hands right now. Magic hands. Magic hands. Hello, it's Thursday today. Happy House Eats Day. Woohoo! It's a lively group out there. There's someone screaming in the back, though. I think that's Scott. Is your hair naturally that color?
It is.
That is a fantastic color.
Thank you.
There are people going to shops for that color of gray and like silver.
Thank you very much.
Silver fox.
I was just telling the makeup, I have a love-hate relationship with it because I went gray very early.
Yeah.
But then everybody says
you're only 22, right?
Yeah, I was like 25
when
I started getting gray.
And that's fantastic color, though.
Thanks.
You can't get that out of a bottle.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
We have it out with a bottle
Jared Dalley here today. It's like Jared Dalley chocolate.
That
Jared
is exactly
Dalley.
Right.
Jared is here from the world's greatest rock show.
Indeed.
Which we saw last night in the Stratosphere. It was very fun. It's very fun. The only thing I can't stand is the Stratosphere smoke smell.
Yeah.
And there was, okay, so was it you? It was on stage, or was it was Kiss? It was Kiss when they came on, and the cocktail waitress was stopping this guy. Now I thought, you can't touch the performers. It's like the guy was getting up there to go up to give a fist pump to the Gene Simmons character,
right?
And the waitress runs over to grab him, like, "Oh my God, you can't go up there." They had just invited us to come down, at the very end to stand up. And
stopped him.
She stopped him because he was lighting up a cigarette, not because he was trying to fist pump Gene Simmons. I was like, "Oh my God, they're holding the back from him." I mean, Gene Simmons is out there for the return fist pump. This lady's like pulling him back, and like, what did he do? It was because he was lighting up a cigarette.
He was lighting up right there in front of the stage.
I live downtown, so we had often frequent the downtown casinos, and so it's just that wonderful smell we've been accustomed to. I'm from Vegas, so I'm easily like, okay, throw off all your clothes when you get home from the venue because you're like, even your beard smells like smoke.
Your hair.
Everything.
I noticed that.
I'm sure you leave there all the time, like, oh no.
Yeah.
So how long have you been in the show? Since its inception?
Yeah, since its inception. I mean, we've been open since April 4th.
So this is a relatively new show for everybody, because we do one of the things we do on the show is this is a show that a lot of our House Seats members can take advantage of, and we get a lot of surveys back. In fact, I filled out my survey this morning of how I appreciated the show last night,
fantastic,
how much I spent while I was there, and the Stratosphere likes that, and the show overall, it was really fun.
Great.
I had a good. I did say to Annie this morning before the show that I literally would love to take like a whole bunch of people to the show, all dressed in 80s garb.
That would be a great idea.
And wigs and everything.
I think Halloween. Let's do that. Halloween. Let's have a big 80s
It's such
bash.
a fun show that way. So I'm going to get ahead of myself. I know, because you were in Rock of Ages, and I see your mug over there.
My mug.
We won't try to do any advertising for Rock of Ages. Was Ann Martinez in that show?
No, that was the one show that she's not in. I think that was the one show she never did.
I would have thought she would, I
don't know why.
When we saw the show last night, and I think my husband and I, we were both at the show, and he had pulled up an Instagram of Ann just posting for Baz like 2 minutes before we were in the show.
Yeah.
And I'm like, she's in this one.
Yeah, every night she goes.
Fantastic.
She runs from Baz to.
Yeah.
She does, and now she does Baz to our show, then Hedwig for this weekend. I mean, she's
a machine.
She's fantastic.
I love
she
it.
is.
And then she does, and she's bringing Alice back soon. I saw that. I'm sorry, Scott said something I didn't know what she was saying. He's saying, I'm not going to repeat it. It's the Republican guy over there. How does he feel about the FBI director being fired? So we don't get very political on the show, Jared, I will say at all. Good. Never talk about politics on the show, ever. But it's mysterious that the FBI guy just kind of got fired while probing for Russia.
Probing Russia.
When you start probing, you get fired.
Depends on where you're at.
Ouch, I know, yeah. Huh. So normally at the top of the show, we kind of talk about what we did, and part of it was obviously went to your show last night. Kind of what we did over the week, the weekend, a little recap. Please feel free to interject
to probe.
To probe. Probe as we go. What do we have up here, Scott, of the photos? I have no idea what photos I sent
you.
Survey says first photo is, that's one of your photos.
I know that guy.
I think we should just go by what the photo does, and then we interject from there. So I see you in the background. Go back to that Andrea Bocelli photo. So
I like
all right,
that one.
that's him that's you in a
exactly.
This is
that's the world's greatest hip hop show.
It's the world's greatest hip hop show. It was fantastic. Have you ever heard of the YouTube sensation Todrick Hall?
I haven't.
Hey, he was on American Idol too, I think.
Oh, Todrick. Was he in Little Mermaid?
Little Mermaid.
Is that him?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe he could. He is amazing, actually. I didn't really know him before. He has so many views on YouTube, like millions and millions of views on YouTube. So he's been traveling with this particular show. We saw him at the Rocks Lounge at Red Rock. Sold out both days.
At the lounge?
At the lounge, yeah.
Wow.
He was fantastic. This number right here, that's him in this lovely garb.
Awesome.
His song's called "You Got the Wrong Bitch." And I think he does a little number. So it's basically chronicles his life as a performer. It's called Straight Out of Oz is his show. There's one number where he comes in. I don't think we have a photo of it, where he comes out as half Glinda and half Elphaba, or half the Wicked Witch, whatever you call it. But yeah, the numbers are quite impressive that he does. The costuming is amazing. He does his own costuming, his own writing of songs, his own choreography, and he's going around the country, worldwide, actually, on this tour. So we saw his show. It
was good.
We saw it on Sunday afternoon. Sunday afternoon at 4. Every gay I knew was there. And we were all the night before at the HRC gala. So it's like, which I saw, multiple friends and people. Of course, we had to wear different outfits, because you don't want to be seen on the red carpet. Is there a photo of us with Todrick that I forwarded you, Scott? I think there was. Oh, no, it's there. Well, that's fine. As soon as the Republican in him can find it,
He's keeping it because of the gays.
It's hard for him to find the gay
suppressing
photos.
Suppressing the photo. You're oppressing the photos,
jackass.
Aren't you?
Well, it's fine. We'll move on from there. What else did I have over the weekend? What else did I send you? I sent you that probably, and then all of the pictures that we shot in your. First of all, this is what I love about Jared's show last night. They, before they come on and they tell you no photos, they say we encourage photos and please tag us and put us on social media. Blah blah blah. I
like that our producer has accepted that. As people, nowadays they want a video and they want to post their experience,
and that's part of actually the experience of your show.
Yeah,
even when we do our setlist shows, if you're not there, this is what you're missing.
Yeah,
and that's kind of, and you know what? Honestly, the people who were there, people are out there. Oh, look at that!
That's our commercial.
That's some fancy shit there. He leaves out my photos, but we get all these.
But we get this.
I can prove it. I prove it.
And many more.
So this is a type of show where you could change out acts.
I think that's the plan eventually.
Because obviously there are many different, before it's funny, Jason leans over to, that's my husband. Jason leans over to me and says, "Do I know any Meat Loaf songs?" Because you guys were all, at the beginning of the show, you, Paul, and what's the other guy's name who does
David Donacci?
Yeah, I saw him at a Monday's Dark thing. He's fantastic. And you guys kind of come out as like stagehands, and whatnot at the beginning of the show. And I said, "Oh, that's Jared who I'm interviewing tomorrow. He plays Meat Loaf." And Jay's like, "Do I know any Meat Loaf songs?" I said, "You will. I promise you." So when you look, I love this.
That was me when I started the show. When the producer,
oh my god,
when the producer came to me and said, he saw me in Rock of Ages.
Yeah,
and I'm a swing in Rock of Ages.
Yeah.
I was. So I got to do different roles every night, and I played the narrator, Mark Chinook.
Okay, yeah.
Played the narrator, and it's very, very exciting, very, very high energy.
Yeah.
And the producer called me and he said, "Now don't take this the wrong way, but have you ever thought about doing Meat Loaf?"
Oh shit.
And I honestly didn't know any Meat Loaf.
Really?
When he said that. The only song I remembered was from the 90s, Anything for Love.
Yeah, right.
So,
so we got some good shots.
Yeah, you got some great shots.
First of all, we were right up there in the front, which was
the
nice.
lighting scheme. I never see it from this angle. The lighting's amazing.
The lighting, the very we were talking the very 80s style music video that the guy was shooting for it too. It looked like Max Headroom, little 80s maybe it's not supposed to be fuzzy, but it was kind of fuzzy, like very like MTV when you're a kid. It was honestly really awesome to watch the video at the same time as you guys were on there, because because we're right there. You can catch either side. I mean, when you're right up front there, but. We loved the one guitarist, the one I think was a bass guitarist, who came out he came out at the one point in
the giant wig.
The giant wig.
Oh, that was Tony Coons.
Oh my god,
one of the guitarists.
He was fantastic to watch.
They're both. I mean, like the talent in this cast. I think that's one of my friends came the other day and he said, when you first heard it was a tribute show, you kind of roll your eyes and it's like, oh great, another tribute show.
Yeah.
They said, and it could be campy and it could be laughable, but he said the caliber of the talent in the show from everybody on the stage, every single person on that stage is incredible. The dancers and the musicians are top notch, and so I think that's what I was blown away with. That everybody is amazing. So when you think about the different people that you want to see versus sometimes what happens on stage, because it's funny, we've done a few setlist shows. We did a Van Halen show. We haven't done a Kiss show. Oh yeah, right.
But we did a Van Halen show where we battled between 1984 and
with the Hagar and the Roth
and Van Halen album. And it was funny because, they they did Hot for Teacher last night, and they did Jump. It was really funny because Jason said this thing. He was like, is that one of their songs? I said, don't you remember when we went through this all about a year ago at Brooklyn Bowl? But yeah, I mean, and then even the finale, when you see Kiss and you see them come out in the costumes, I actually go to EDC every year, the Electric Daisy Carnival they do out at the Speedway. And I told Jay, I said, I think I want to borrow one of their costumes. Like the one guy with the space kind of shoes at the very far end. He was
Ace Frehley.
I don't know the character. I only know Gene Simmons. I don't know anybody else in that band. I just know the guy with the long tongue. That's how I remember that. But they did an awesome job. Yeah. The one guy came out in that's the jumpsuit I wanted. I have to lose a few more pounds to wear that. But
the one with nipples and all the way down
and his nipples were very present. There was no misconstruing what was going on there. I was like,
Paul Stanley.
I was like,
and it goes. I mean, it's all the way down to under the bikini zone. It goes under the bikini zone.
He had very large nipples. It was very hard not to stare during the show.
He just slapped some pepperonis.
Chelsea's like, what's happening up there? You're talking about nipples on stage. There's nudity in the show. It wouldn't be a Vegas show without nudity. Not even side boob. It's the real thing. It's awesome.
I think Meat Loaf should. Maybe I should go some.
You should take your shirt off.
Maybe I should
take your shirt off.
Actually, they talked about that. The producer wanted me to do that.
You were attempting to do something there. And then what is her name? Your sidekick? Can you do
Cassie Stone.
She also did the numbers of Heart with
and she was in Zarkana.
Oh, she was.
She was she was the singer in Zarkana. Oh, she's done a bunch. Yeah, Lovely Ladies. God, they're good.
Gotta have her.
They're so good.
There you go. This is something. The cast is phenomenal. That's when we leaned over as we were talking top of show about Ann Martinez. If you're watching Ann, we're like, well, she has no time to watch. But
yeah, I was gonna say she's studying lines.
She's in every show,
or writing a show,
and she did a phenomenal job last night too, because I love I have not, I think I saw Heart once at the Las Vegas Hilton, then was down at the Westgate, but they've been back and forth at House of Blues and various. I love seeing them. They're
Heart,
yeah, they're amazing still. Those two are absolutely amazing, but these two pulled it off very well last night. I had to say.
I switched the girls. The girls, we rotate.
Sometimes Ann's with you.
Sometimes it's Ann,
yeah,
and that's really fun to watch because both the girls have their own personalities. It's really great.
Yeah,
and so it's really fun for me to be able to break it up once in a while.
So you'd never seen Meat Loaf on tour?
No, I knew him from Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Okay,
and Fight Club.
Yeah,
I knew him as an actor more than as a singer.
Because we have a girl that sings with us regularly, Sean Coey. Yeah,
yep.
Who's in? She's in Raiding the Rock Vault.
Yeah,
at the she was at the Hard Rock at Vinyl. But she tours with him, so she plays sort of that.
I believe she was on stage when he collapsed. Because he had a stroke, and I believe she was on stage with him. I could be wrong, Sean. I'm sorry.
Did she resuscitate him?
I don't know.
She resuscitated the Meat Loaf. But so how did you prepare for this role to play him? Like, what did you do?
Just
to do that.
Unfortunately, he has a million videos.
Unfortunately, he has lots of YouTube videos.
Fortunately. So, like I said, he asked me if I want to do the show, and all I knew about Meat Loaf is that he's a fluffy fella. He's a bigger frame, fella like myself, and I was like, come on, man. But and then I watched his one of his the Bat Out of Hell concert, and I was like, oh, this guy's really theatrical. I can see, this actually could be a lot of fun,
right?
And I didn't realize at the time. I'm sure Jack Black got a lot of stuff. I often get a Jack Black. People are like, "Oh, you're Jack Black." So I watched it, and it was some great material. And so that's why I just watched a whole bunch of videos. And fortunately, his energy is very similar, and our voices are.
Right. You were pretty spot on with that. Thanks. The one scene, I think it was, you had like the red handkerchief, and you were kind of putting it over her face. It's like it was very theatrical because I mean, the other gentleman who came out and did Van Halen, what is his name? Drew. He very looks the part, like hair and everything. I don't think that's a wig. I think that's
it's not. He's the only one that doesn't have a wig.
Yeah, he definitely embraced the '80s. I like that.
Yeah,
that's
right.
Fun. But you guys, it's not. It's so funny because when you're talking like parody or talking like tribute, it's very much like you guys kind of embrace the way they do things in that sort of way where people, if they weren't at the concert, they were having fun anyway.
Right.
And that's kind of what you set out to do, when people are in there when they're getting drunk and they're getting crazy in the stratosphere.
Exactly.
So I think who was the top of show? It was
Bruce.
Okay, yeah,
Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah. And what is his
Michael
name?
Shapiro.
Okay, that's who performed in Monday's Dark the other day when I saw him.
Yes.
He was doing it. They were doing a 1984 show.
Yep. And Paul Johnson.
Yeah, and Paul. Oh yeah, Paul.
Another Paul. Yep, another.
You don't have a picture of Paul. I did love Paul's pants.
Paul's pants and that. Yeah, girls' jeans. I always make.
I had to take a look at him the
Paul.
first moment he was out there with the hair and the top, the blouse. And the pants. I had a Karen Carpenter moment right there on stage for about 2 seconds. I leaned over to Jay. I said, I feel like you should start singing a Karen Carpenter song.
Oh, I can't wait. Are you watching Paul? Because that's your name.
Yeah, I saw Paul last
Karen,
night for 2 seconds, and I was like, I had a moment. I'm like, oh my God, it's like Karen Carpenter on stage. And there goes Scott with the music. So prior to that, you were in Rock of Ages before it closed. You were at the Rio, and prior to that, you were at the Venetian.
Yep.
Is that the gig that brought you to Vegas, or you'd been here?
No, I've been here for 17 years.
17 years.
Long, hot.
You might be one of the longest people we've had on here. Who's
Really?
been, I'm from here, so we always want to connect with people on why they came here for the first place and how long they've been here. And the last few guests I've had have only been here like a couple of months.
Really?
So, or just kind of transplanting here.
So they're shiny and new.
They are. They still go out and love it and they go to the clubs. Yeah.
I'm from Idaho originally, so I'm from like the mountains and forests of Idaho.
Very
so
nice.
Coming here was actually a great disappointment. Exactly right.
Where are you from in Idaho?
Idaho Falls.
Okay, yeah.
But I grew up in the Teton Valley, which is like at the base of the Tetons.
Yeah.
That's where my grandparents lived.
That's
so I
where
was there
people
half the year.
Did you see Idaho at the Smith Center?
I didn't. Heard it was fantastic.
I just wondered if you related in any way to the show.
I have to see that because everyone says
pretty awesome.
Everyone says
pretty good. It'll be back. I'm sure.
So actually, I went to Boise State for theater.
Yeah.
And directing, and
nice.
From there I met Dawn Wells, Gilligan's Island.
Yep.
She was Mary Ann from Gilligan's Island.
Okay.
She had bought a ranch in Idaho, and she had this film actors boot camp.
Nice.
Yeah. So, and I became a friend with hers, and so I became like a recruiter for that camp. And so
what an interesting job.
Yeah, it was
Wow.
great. It was really fun. She's a fantastic woman, incredible woman. She's she's gorgeous.
Over there
I'm not kidding.
Things, yeah.
I am not kidding.
She was Mary Ann.
So then I did a couple, while I was in college, I did a couple years with her in that school.
Yeah.
And then she said, why don't you come to LA and be my, work with me, be my personal assistant, and I have a cabana you can live in. And nice. Right. And this was be Mary Ann's cabana boy. I was there close.
You're the pool
but
boy.
Las Vegas got in the way. So that's what I was heading down to do. I wanted to do voiceover stuff.
We
That's
didn't
what
find any photos online of you in like little shorts with, a little
with my
skimmer in the pool.
With my little half shirt on.
He went on a 3-hour tour for sure with her.
3 minute
around her pool.
3 minute tour.
Yeah.
So I was on the way to LA,
Yeah.
and I stopped in
And you
Vegas because I
stopped
had
here.
friends here.
Yeah.
And I have the girl I was staying with. She said, hey, the Venetian is hiring, and the Venetian Hotel is.
Yeah.
And you're a singer. You could, why don't you audition for that? So I auditioned for that and got that job.
You got a gondoliere.
And I was like,
job.
I'll stay here
There you are.
Yeah, there I am. My sister and my eldest son.
A relative that somebody let you. I was just randomly someone let you take their photo.
No, that was my sister and my eldest son right there.
Nice.
So yeah, I figured I'd stay for 6 months and make some money, and 17 years later, I'm still here getting to I'll get to you, Mary Ann. I'm coming.
How was that being being a gondoliere? Did you have any accidents?
Oh yeah, all the time. You kidding? Absolutely. I've seen gondolas go up the stairs.
Oh.
When you're training. It's
sort of like James Bond
over top of each other. Yeah, it got a little James Bondy because they have motors on.
Yeah.
So you can get them cooking. You can get them going pretty fast. And
I've never done that. At the
Smashed.
Venetian.
Really?
No, I've never been on a gondola. I had friends. Actually, my friend Amy used to be a gondolier there too, and she sang at the same. Her name was Amy Levitt at the time.
Oh yeah, Amy Levitt. Amy Guess. Amy.
See, the photo that Scott can't find from Todrick Hall was with me and Amy and his.
She's in there.
She went to the show with us. He can't find it, so I was gonna point it out to her if you remember her. She has blue hair now.
Yeah, I totally remember.
Yeah, Amy
trained her. I was the lead trainer there.
Hey, Amy, your trainer's on. Your trainer's on.
Good to see you again.
Go. Mm-hmm.
So
did you sing in St. Mark's Square too? And
I did the costume characters. I did the opera company.
Love
there.
that.
Yeah, it's fun.
They have the best acoustics in that room, in that square to do stuff.
It's also,
so
but when you get so many people talking, it's also the acoustics of the people talking. So you have to argue over that. So yeah, so
you did that.
That's what I stay here, and I'm also a guitar player. So I got in a band with a bunch of other gondoliers, and we did an original band called Trip Sitter.
Okay.
And then
where did you primarily gig and play at?
The Palms.
Okay.
Palapa Lounge.
Yeah, sure.
That. The Palapa Lounge. We used to play there all the time, and then we played all over California. We were getting some momentum. Like MTV bought the Ride Star album, and they were going to use some of our songs. And then that kind of fizzled out. But then we got hired from that to tour with original Beach Boy Al Jardine. And so that was great. So yeah, there he is.
That's
Me and
right
Al.
there, yeah.
That's me and Al in Japan.
Awesome.
So I stayed on with Al for about 8 years as his guitar player. Yeah. And that was,
I love that we my husband and I got married about a little over a month ago, and we did a medley of Beach Boy songs.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, we did "Don't Worry, Baby," and we did
great song.
Of course,
Don't Worry,
famous one now. I can't remember because I'm on the spot
that one.
now. Oh, you know that one.
Yeah,
like,
that one. God only knows.
Yeah,
that's the big wedding song. Yeah.
So I got goosebumps.
It's,
they're back. They're coming back to the Smith Center. They're going to be here in September, I think, at the Smith Center.
The Beach Boys.
Yeah,
it's very. The Beach Boys are now. They're
don't play that while I'm on air. Because I'll start crying,
start
Scott. Don't do that, you evil man.
You know they have. The originals, and they broke up.
Yeah.
When they broke up and two of the brothers died. Right. So you have Brian Wilson, Al Jardine, and Mike Love.
Yeah.
So when you see the Beach Boys, it's Mike Love's band. So it's Mike Love and Bruce Johnston. And then Al Jardine was like all the touring members of the Beach Boys.
Okay.
And myself.
Yeah.
And then Brian Wilson is his band with the Wonderments and these incredible musicians. So it's very confusing. So yeah. So when you see the Beach Boys, you're seeing one Beach Boy.
one Beach Boy.
And they feuded for a long time, but now they're all gelling together after the 50th anniversary.
Right.
So.
How fun to do that, though, and go on tour.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I'd sit with these guys who toured. They toured with the Beach Boys, and the Beach Boys did everything.
Yeah.
So I'd be sitting at dinner with them before the show, and they'd be like, was that the Reagan inauguration, or was that Live Aid when this happened? They'd tell stories. I'm just eating my steak and like, wow, this is great. This is amazing. Yeah.
Well, they were around at a time where they
were the biggest band in the world for a long time. So the stories.
We I mean, I have a lot of respect for a lot of these musicians, but we went to a concert I would have never found myself at except for house seats. We went to see Jimmy Buffett at the MGM Grand. Never in a million years would I have seen the show. So much respect for a man who can stand up there barefoot, in shorts, singing,
do his whole thing.
And we missed the margarita. We were late because we thought no one's ever on time for a concert. The box office was closed by the time we got there. We missed he plays right from start. He doesn't have an opener. He plays right from start, ends right at like 10:30. Like he's done. And he's worth $500 million.
I was just going to say, he's worth $500 million.
Yeah, like this is the most, in these musicians, they've been around. They have done something right.
Yeah.
And so even as you roll into the show you're doing now, and so after you left touring with Al, you were back here, and you're married here in Vegas.
Yeah. Yep.
And how many kids do you have? Two children.
Two beautiful little boys.
How old are they?
They are 8 months and 6 years. One just turned 6, and one.
That one in the photo?
Months. Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Yep. The one in the photo just turned 6.
I'm trying to piece it all together for you. Oh, there's your children.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, it's the best thing in the whole world. Look at him. Look at him.
So cute.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So you finished the touring, and then you ended up here. And where were you? What was happening in Vegas?
I was doing the gondola the whole time.
Yeah.
So that was the nice thing about the gondola. They would let you off. So I'd go tour, because Al only did. We'd tour. I don't know, 20 weekends out of the year, something like that. So it wasn't a full time thing.
Right.
So I'd go back and forth.
So you had the best of both worlds.
Yeah, it was great. So I'd have a steady job, and then go to that, and then I went to China to open the Venetian Macau, which was amazing. Yeah, so we went.
You were a gondoliere there?
Well, I was the lead trainer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, me and a couple of guys were.
You trained everyone who was coming through there. So you trained actors with Mary Ann, and then you trained gondoliers for Mr. Adelson and his properties. That's
exactly.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
You have done a lot of things.
I have done.
You have.
I've been very blessed. Rock of Ages.
There you are.
Where have you gone? And Joey Fatone.
That was such a
That's
fun
my little
show.
plug.
He's a fun cat.
He's the best person I've ever met, honestly. He's the most disgusting, like, deranged person. Like, he'd be like, hey, Jared, look at this video. And I'd want to vomit the stuff he would show me. Like, oh, I didn't know human body could do that. But
he didn't prep you before he showed you.
He didn't prep me. He loved that. He loved me. But yeah, he's one of the best people I've ever met. He really, like, you meet a lot of stars here in Vegas.
Yeah.
And I met some very pretentious ones. I met some lovely ones. And he brought our cast together. Like, he actually came in. It was, the minute he got there, he sat just, and he invited us to Anthony Quill's house. He borrowed Anthony Quill's house, and he cooked dinner for us all, for the cast. And he made spaghetti, and he made sauce, handmade spaghetti and sauce, and served us all. That was his introduction to us.
Nice.
I mean, he's wonderful.
Were you? Now I know we talked before the show. You had visited the restaurant I have, DW.
Yeah.
Were you there when he came a few times with the cast back in the day? He came with Mark, and he came with people.
No,
he came over to DW for brunch.
Cast.
Yeah. When he came one time, it was funny because we had this idea. We were going to swirl around, like have these guest celebrity people come and pour. We do all day mimosas on Sundays.
Right.
We get everyone wasted and pour lots of mimosas. And so I thought, let's have like guest people come in and pour the mimosas for people. So I was like, let's have Joey back and pour mimosas. So they'll probably get everybody more wasted than we do. We kind of try to not go back there too often and be like, oh, I'm thirsty. Because, it is a little challenge on Sundays to keep it. Although this Sunday is Mother's Day, so hopefully people a little bit more, a little more decorum this Sunday. So I love this. So Andy had you forward photos. So you're also an artist.
Yeah,
and so you forwarded a few photos. So I would love to know what's happening in these.
I took my ultimate goal, all-time ultimate goal.
Like this
would be an Imagineer at Disney. Yeah. That's what I've been trying to do for. It was my childhood dream, and I thought I'll never be an Imagineer. It's too hard to get that way. And so, but then I made these connections, and so when I got to Vegas, I started working for agencies, started building costumes. I think you had some of them up there. Okay. Started building these giant costumes. I built giant puppets. We built like this. Yeah, okay. My wife and I
like your facial.
My wife and I love to do these costumes. So
this one looks familiar.
That's from Hellboy.
Okay,
that's from Hellboy.
It looks like a character from the early LiLV days back in the day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. And then, that was we did for Christmas in Venice. We did a polar bear costume for that.
You do these at the Venetian?
Yeah. My son and his
this is the
chicken
best.
Walker.
This is the best. Okay, that's what they're called? So Jay, we try to watch Rogue One all the time, and he always falls asleep in the middle of the movie. I have watched it myself already through, but I fell asleep the other night. But he asked me what these were called, and I said, the big walkers are called something else.
AT-ATs.
Well, that's what
they're called.
Because they're building
I don't know why they call them AT-ATs.
AT-ATs. They're building.
Transport.
Well, they're building real live ones at Disneyland in the Star Wars world.
That's why I want.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm the world's biggest Star Wars fan.
Ooh,
so
this is good.
That was the all-terrain scout transport, the AT-ST Chicken Walker.
So the Chicken Walker,
that's what my son wanted to be, and that was actually for Star Wars Day last week.
That's phenomenal.
Thank you. That was
really,
my wife
really
and I.
Good.
So my wife and I love to build these costumes. Oh, so anyway,
yeah.
So
Imagineering.
So, so I've been trying to get into that world, and it's a very hard nut to crack, obviously.
Yeah.
And so I just recently took this concept art program. There it is.
He's gonna cry now too, Scott. Thanks a lot for the tears.
Concept art program from Vancouver Animation School.
Yeah.
And to try and that's what all those photos were from. It was a video game, and it's a video game and film school.
Yeah.
So I just took that to try and beef up my portfolio so I could one day get in that door.
This was fun.
Yeah, that's the carrot chopper. We had to do vehicles, so I was doing
the V8 carrot chopper.
The V8. Yeah, this was my the war. This was my concept for these. It's the apple. It's the vegetables. The fruits and the vegetables are at war. So this is the carrot.
You could
the
definitely
biker gang.
sell this to V8 for commercials
around
the next Star Wars movie.
There you go. That's not a bad idea.
Get on that.
So they're like
you'll probably train
biker gang.
Imagineers because your cycle here is of training. People.
You know what? That's a good point. Maybe that's what I need to do. Go tell them how to imaginate.
I think we just went to Disney last week. That's why it's fresh. And they had, it was on a Wednesday, the good day to go. And, they had blocked off right by the end of Frontierland, all of the whole area. And there was little peaks you could, we purposely rode Splash Mountain, although we got a little terribly wet because when the ride stops, if something happens, that much more water because that happens to me every time I'm on Smash Mountain.
Oh,
the ride breaks down for a second.
Somebody hits
and I'm stuck at the top. Like, sorry, everybody, we'll be right on. And I'm like, that means all the water's fresh and ready when you go and you get hit the most. So that's just a little note for you. But it was nice because we were still stuck at the top of the drop off, and we could see into the valley of what they were doing in Star Wars Land. That was fun to watch.
See,
we're like, ooh, just little. We were all trying to take our phones out and try to take photos, except before we get down the.
I saw the.
It's going to be fascinating. And they're doing simultaneously at Disney World the same build-outs so that you can go to both.
And then Avatar's opening.
Very smart.
A plug for Disney suddenly.
I know. They have a lot of money, though. They've been making these Marvel movies that make so much
They have a little too much power.
Yeah, they have a lot
They have
of
Star
money.
Wars.
Yeah.
They have Marvel.
I did not like the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. They own
the newest one?
And no, it was horrible.
They changed.
Well,
the Tower of Terror.
The Tower of Terror, which opened.
That was an atrocity.
It wasn't open yet when we were there, so we just stayed in Disney. If
I was an Imagineer, that would.
If you were Imagineer, it would already be open.
It'd still be.
It was a pleasure having you. We can see you in the show every day. About Monday.
Is that half an hour?
It's half an hour. So the show is Dark Monday, right?
Yep, Dark Monday.
Tuesday through Sunday, you can see the show 9 p.m. at the Stratosphere.
Exactly.
Play Meat Loaf.
Come ready to rock and have some fun.
It's
and
so
make
much
some
fun.
noise.
Get some drink, something other than what we're drinking today. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. Bye.
Bye, everyone.